Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom to the elect, northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. Shalom, shalom. All right, we're gonna get into the subject of prophesying against these wicked kingdoms. I'm gonna start off with we're gonna start off with this Isaiah. We're gonna start off with Isaiah. Let's see here, Isaiah 62. Isaiah 62. Okay. Salakia. Let's start off with that Micah. Because Micah gives a good statement on how we gonna operate. Let's see here. Man, hold on. I guess I'll start with verse 8. But before we start with Micah 4 and 8, we're gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakadash. Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai been the name of his only begotten Son, who they heavenly called Jesus Christ. I'm gonna start off with this Micah 4 and 8. It's going into the elect Israelites crying out, see, to the Lord, his bride, his woman. See, she's crying out to the Lord. Okay, but let's give and it's for two reasons too. That cry is going out for two reasons. Just like a pregnant woman and a woman being attacked. This Micah 4 and 8, it says, "And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion." Who is the tower of the flock? What did they do in the tower? They watch. See, the men that's in the tower, they watching. It says, "Unto you shall it come, even the first dominion, the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem." So the watchmen that the Lord set up, they are that tower of the flock. Verse 9, it says, "Now why do thou cry out aloud? Is there no king in you? Is your counsel perished? For pains have taken you as a woman in travail." Okay, this is why the Israelites is crying out. See, the elect is crying out. Now we get that Isaiah 62, starting with verse 5. It says, "For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall your sons marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoice over the bride, so shall your power rejoice over you." So this situation is gonna be like the bridegroom. I'm saying that right? I mean, a young man married a virgin, okay, and the bridegroom uh dealing with his bride. And when you go into that virgin thing, that's a big part of the situation of the crying out for. But Let me get verse 6 and 7, and then we're gonna look up that law about the virgin. It says, I have set watchmen upon your wall, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silent. See, cry out is the opposite of keeping not silent. And give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So he said, give Yahweh no rest. Keep not silent. Keep crying out, because you are his bride and you his virgin. So you got to keep crying out. Now, the thing is Deuteronomy 22, maybe 21. Let me see. Deuteronomy 22. It's going to show why the nation of Israel have to cry out and what they will do. I mean, why they crying out? Because Micah asked the question, why do they cry? Why do you cry out? This Deuteronomy 22, and I want to start at, where is it? I guess I'll get right to the point. Okay. I'm going to start with 22. Yeah, 22. And then I'm going to go down to 24. This Deuteronomy 22, and read down to 24. It says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband. See, we're going to parallel with this with the elect. It says, then they shall both of them die. But the man that lie with the woman, and the woman, so shall thou put away evil from Israel. 23, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. See, this is just find her in the city. This is what happened in 70 AD. See, the heathen, the Gentiles found us in our city, and they stole us and took us. See, they humbled us and took us from our husband. Verse 24, it says, then ye shall bring them both out to the gate of that city, and that ye shall stone them with stones that they die. So this was the punishment, okay? You was gonna get stoned. It says the damsel, because she cried not. So when you look at the elect, they're in captivity and they crying out. But they have to cry out, because if they don't cry out, now you're gonna get the same punishment of the man that was trying to humble you. It says both the man, no, not the Salakia. It says because she cried not, being in the city, and now that city represents Babylon the Great. It says, and the man, because he have humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you. Okay, and so this is why Isaiah 62 said what it said. Now, let me go back to Michael real quick. This is Michael 4, and then I'm gonna read 9 and go back down to 10. It says, now why do thou criest out aloud? Is there no king in you? Is your counsel perished? For pains have taken you as a woman in travail. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. See, two reasons that the elect is crying out. It says, for now, and see that labor it talks about, and labor to bring forth. See, we in captivity to our slave master, uh, and he putting us to work. We laboring for our enemies. It says, uh, for now you go forth out of the city. We left out of Jerusalem. Okay, that was the original city when the man called us and forced us and humbled us. It says, and thou shalt dwell in the field. We left there and dwelt in the field. That was the west coast of Africa. It says, and thou shalt even go unto Babylon. So we done left Jerusalem, the west coast of Africa, and we end up in America, Babylon. It says, there shall you be delivered. There Yahweh shall redeem you from the hand of your enemies. See, now you're going to be delivered from that man that took you forcefully and humbled you. But you got to scream and cry out. See, you got to cry out like a woman in travail, like a woman having a baby. You got to cry out because you being humbled by somebody that's not your husband. Because the Lord is setting up a marriage feast. Let's go and get that out of Matthew 22. It says, I'm gonna start with verse 2. It's Matthew 22 and 2. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son. So the marriage for this son is that Yahweh, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he's the son, and the elect is the bride to that marriage, in the marriage. So let's jump down to verse 9. It says, well, let's jump down to verse 8, get the context. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. Okay, so this is another reason why the elect is crying out, because they got to bid to the marriage. The other elect Israelites that's in Babylon the Great. That's where is it? Verse what did he say? Verse 10. It says, so those servants went out into the highways. See, that's why we go out into the highway. See, this is what the elect, the faithful servant, when you go into that faithful servant that he was talking about. See, the faithful servant is going to go out into the highways. They're not going to be up in the church, or they're not going to be knocking on all these people's doors, man. They're going to be in the highway. It says, go therefore unto Salakia. It said the faithful, those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. Okay, so he's trying to furnish this wedding with guests, so you can have the bridegroom and the bride have a wedding. Now, that's part of the reason that the Israelites is crying out. Let's get Isaiah 58 and 1. It says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sin. That's another reason why the elect is crying out. Okay, they crying out to show the Israelites their sins and transgressions. They're crying out, see, to the Lord to save, to deliver them. They crying out because they don't have a king, they don't have a land. See, they've been in captivity to a whole nother man. And let me link up that crying out to the Lord. Now Isaiah said he gonna keep not silent. See, give the Lord no rest. This is what Luke was talking about in Luke 18. This is what Yahweh is talking about in Luke 18. He said when he spoke a parable, he says, I get the whole parable. This verse Luke 18 and 1, it says, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always pray and not faint, saying there was in a city a judge, which feareth not the Most High, neither regardeth man. See, that's what he was talking about. That that city in Micah, that city in Isaiah. I think the city in what's the other one? Well, you can go to Revelation 18 too. That great city, which is Babylon the Great America. And it says, verse 3, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. Okay, this is what the Lord is telling us. We should be praying to the Lord to avenge us of our adversaries, our slave master. See, the heathen that's trodden down Jerusalem, that got us in captivity in all nations. Verse 4, it says, he would not for a while, but afterwards he said within himself, though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubled me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. That's why he said, keep not silent, keep on crying out to the Lord. Verse 6, and the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. Verse 7, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. See, that's why that Macron in 144, he want to say that vengeful God of the Old Testament, we need to get rid of him. See, but he kept Luke in there, and Luke giving the same situation, that the Lord is a vengeful God, and he gonna get revenge for his people being mistreated, his elect. It says, nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? This is the faith when he come. When he come, he gonna be trying to look for the faith of the saints that's ready for the Lord to avenge them for the slavery and the atrocity that happened to them. Now, let's see here. And so, let me get to Amos, then we'll go and get at Jeremiah. It's Amos 3. I'm gonna start with verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city, and Yahweh have not done it? Surely, uh, Yahweh our power will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servant the prophet. The lion have roared. Who will not fear? Yahweh our power have spoken. Who can but prophesy? So that crying out, that blowing the trumpet, like he said in Isaiah 58 and 1, this is going into prophesying. See, they would come out and prophesy against this wicked kingdom. Okay, and that's going to lead me to Jeremiah 28 and 8. this is uh, how the elect is going to be crying out to the Lord. Jeremiah 28:8 it says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. See, they're going to be prophesying, crying out against Babylon the Great. That's taking them by force in line with them, humbling them. See, that's why in Revelation, when he's talking about Babylon the Great, it says that these other nations committing fornication with her. See, they lying down with her and joining her in a union to pretty much do, and then that's going into the rich man too. The rich man and Lazarus. See, these other nations joining in. It ain't just the rich man by himself. These other nations is joining in with this oppressor, this man that's taking us by force and humbling us. Okay, let's see here. Now I want to get this Colossians chapter 1. Colossians chapter 1, verse 20, verse 26. It says, even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. See, and these mysteries, that mystery goes into, this is for the initiated. See, the initiated elect Israelites, they gonna understand the mysteries. They gonna be revealed, like Amos 3:7 say, the Lord shall do nothing, but he reveal his secrets to the servants of prophets, reveal his mysteries, initiate the elect Israelites. See, that's gonna be in captivity, crying out to the Lord to avenge them of their slave master, because they're in the hand of their enemies, and they're gonna be crying out to the Lord. See, this is a spiritual power that the Lord is giving them, and that's gonna take me to Revelation. It's becoming manifest to the saints, which was because it was hidden. It hid the truth to the situation. Now this is Revelation 11. I got to start it from the top because it goes along with that Luke 21 and 24 that talks about the Israelites being in captivity in all nations until the Lord comes. And the Gentiles trotting down their land. See, this matches that verse. This is Revelation 11 and 2. It says, but the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentile. The Gentile is in a court that's gonna get left out. Okay, this ain't got nothing to do with them. When it comes to these two, what you call it, witnesses, they're not gonna be in the courtroom witnessing for the Lord, like the Jehovah Witness got these people talking about. Oh, we're witnesses. No, you're not a witness. The witness you giving is a false witness. It says, and the holy city shall be trodden under foot 40 and 2 months. That's talking about the Israelites. That's why it's giving you two, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Verse 3 it says, and I will give power unto my witnesses. This is the power that he's giving them, spiritual power. See, and this spiritual power is going to cause fire to come down and burn Babylon the Great up. It says, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy. See, we got the power to prophesy, and bring down this kingdom. See, we don't have to go get some stupid gunpowder and some metal to wrap around it to shoot it at somebody real fast so they could bleed out. That's not gonna bring the nation down that got us in captivity. It's just gonna throw our behind in jail. See, it's just gonna uh eliminate a soldier that can put on the spiritual armor for the Lord. See, but this power He given us is the witness against a wicked kingdom and to destroy that wicked kingdom. It says, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olives and the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. See, we standing before the Most High, crying out, prophesying, asking the Lord to avenge us of our slave master, of our captive people that captured us, requiring us of a song. See, you can be a movie star, you can be a singer, a rapper. See, you don't have to be poor in our captivity. You just gotta drink blood and sacrifice children and be a homosexual. It says, verse 5, if any man will hurt them, fire proceed out of their mouth and devour their enemies. See, we being hurt in the captivity. So while we in this captivity being hurt, we gonna prophesy against they behind, see, and devour them with this fire. Real quick, let me shoot this Jeremiah 5 and 14. And we're gonna go back to Revelation. It said, Jeremiah 5 and 14, it said, wherefore thus says Yahweh, uh, Yahweh our power of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in your mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. See, this is what Apostle John is writing. He's talking about this spiritual power that we have to prophesy and bring down this wicked kingdom. He said, how them Jamaicans and these freaking Rastafarian uh, Hindu wannabes talking about burn down Babylon, blaze the fire. See, but we prophesying is gonna do that. Where it goes on and say, and if any man hurt them, if any man will, this is Revelation 11 and 5, and if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Okay, so this same manner of fire, these Edomites here in Babylon and Great America is gonna be killed. It says, these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy. You know what heaven represents? A kingdom. See, represents these great kingdoms, these countries that we prophesying against. It said these have power to shut heaven, spiritual power. It that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. See, that's why you see these tornadoes, hurricanes, these tsunamis hitting these people, man. It ain't got nothing to do with no global warming. These people want to tell lies talking about a global warming. See, ain't no too much carbon in the atmosphere that's warming up the earth and causing all kind of problems. No, it's the Israelites that's prophesying and causing these people to catch heck when the Bermuda Triangle where the slave ships was uh going, and the women was jumping off, and the sharks were eating up the women who was jumping off the slave ship. They following that same trail. See the hurricane coming that same direction between the Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and Miami. See, all of this mysterious stuff is happening where in that area of the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, just because the elect is prophesying, and they even got power over the waters. But anyways, verse 7 it says, "And when they shall have finished their testimony," what's that testimony? This is talking about the elect is gonna be prophesying until Yahushua call it bring it to an end, because it's the testimony of Yahushua. See, that's what the elect is coming with, which is the spirit of prophecy. So they're gonna be prophesying until Yahushua start to get busy. It says, "The beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit." Okay, so I thought it was the devil. See, I thought it was the devil that was in the bottomless pit. See, but this saying that the beast is in the bottomless pit, and the beast supposed to be the government. So how is the government in the bottomless pit? See, they're all confused. But the beast represents the nation of Edom. That's who the beast is. It says, "The beast that ascend out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them," because they're gonna get tired of being prophesied against, and they're gonna realize, hold on, we having all these problems because the Israelites is prophesying. That's why we having these problems. They're gonna come to the realization. And the next chapter is gonna prove that. But let me finish this verse 7, and we're gonna go to Revelation 12. It says, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Okay, jump over. Why is he gonna make war with them? Look at Revelation 12 and 12, letting you know that beast and that dragon is the same thing, man. I'm tired of people trying to separate the beast and the dragon. And they ain't got nothing to do with no city states either, man. They the same nation of Edom. It's plain. One guy, he on there talking about, they trying to make it plain. Yes, the Lord said, right, plain upon table. But anyway, this Revelation 12 and 12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time." How do he know? See, he gonna realize that the prophets is prophesying the downfall of his kingdom, and this is why the kingdom is falling. Not because of all of this stuff that's going on, man. It's because the prophets that came alive and stood upon their feet, a great army, and they using spiritual power against them. See, we a great army that's using spiritual power. We're not a great army that's gonna sit up there and grab some freaking gunpowder and metal and throw it at people, or create some kind of gadget to destroy or delete a bunch of people at one time. We ain't on no crap like that, man. This is a spiritual war. That's why I'm gonna get the next verse after of that in Ephesians. But it says, when you go down to verse 17, it's saying exactly what uh, Revelation 11 said. It said, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed." Okay, so the beast and the dragon is doing the exact same thing in every Revelation chapter. So yeah, he was. It says, "Which keep the commandments of the Most High, and have the testimony of Yahweh of Mashiach." See, these Christians don't keep no commandments, man. They're a bunch of idolaters. They're a bunch of fornicators, sleeping with animals. See, these Christians ain't nothing. Touching people's children, You got the Jehovah Witness with outrageous child abuse, child what you call a molestation charge. You got the Catholic Church and all of these Christians talking about the men in the church touching our children. See, they are a bunch of lawless people, man. So they ain't representing no Yahweh Shah's testimony. He testifying against Abraham. Now let's go back to Revelation 11 and show this: the dragon and the beast is the same thing, and the Israelites are standing up with spiritual power prophesying against these folks. Verse 8 is Revelation 11 and 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay, so Babylon the Great America is spiritually Egypt, spiritually Sodom, spiritually where Yahweh Shah was crucified. See, not literally, but spiritually. We our dead bodies is we spiritually dead. See, our bodies is not dead in Babylon the Great. Our bodies is spiritually dead in America. I'm gonna jump down to verse. Let's see here, verse 11. Well, verse 10 lets you know too. It says, "And they dwell upon the earth, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts to one another." That's they slave trade. They giving gifts to the other plantation, and we're gonna send you this, send you the children of this wench that we got. See, we're gonna send you this buck right along with some of the children. It says, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And then when you go into present time, these people that what you call it, the human trafficking in Babylon the Great America is the number one in the world, man. Coming out of Atlanta, coming out of these port cities, see, California, they snatching up children. The missing person president or the head man of the missing person department, he's saying that it was like eight at the time. This might be 5 years back, but he said it was 800,000 missing people, and out of them 800,000, 60% of them was blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. See, because these people kidnapping kids, sending them to that's what the Pizzagate was all about. They were sending gifts to the freaking presidents and these people's on the Epstein regime. That's why Trump now he going against uh so-called BB, and BB saying, okay, I don't forget I got this Epstein situation that I can roll out like a red carpet and expose y'all behind. So you better keep doing what I say. You better keep harassing these Iranians. See, you better keep putting the pressure on these Iranians so we can have a greater Israel. See, keep on messing with these Iranians. Don't you finna get them $300 billion? No, we got the Epstein papers still. So don't forget that we got you by the balls. See, because they were sending gifts of children. See, in these black markets, Pizzagate, talking about send us some ice. We want some ice cream. We want two pizzas with extra cheese and all this crap with the Hillary Clinton emails. See, all this crap, man, these Edomites was doing a bunch of witchcraft and blood and child sacrifice. But jumping down to verse 11, it said, this Revelation 11 and 11, it says that after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. So we were spiritually dead. Then the Lord, after 3 days and a half, gave us that spiritual power that we can come out and prophesy now. This is we were doing it before 1969 with Bishop Matthews, but it went to a whole nother level because when you go on the Ezekiel 37, it gives you stages of when they gonna finally get that breath and start to prophesy. First they was putting on, I think it talks about skin. They put on the skin, and then it got to a point where they gonna put on the whole everything and come alive. So Bishop Matthews and those early people that was bringing out that we was the Israelite, they was like, that's like putting on the skin or putting on, a small part of the body. But we was fully brought alive in 1969. So when you go from 1969 all the way back to when we got here in 1619, you get 300 and what you call it 350 years. But anyways, let's finish that 11. It's Revelation 11 and 11. It says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. See, that's that spiritual power. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. So this is what's going on. The Israelites, we don't have to go out here and protest and waste our time. We don't have to go out here and try to assemble some carnal army to fight against these people, because we destroying their kingdom through prophesying. This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. This is another add on to Ezekiel 37 and Revelation 11. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. See, a Christian can't run their mouth talking about, oh, we're the righteous. No, the righteous is going to be afflicted in slavery, and they're going to stand up to their slave master. See, you can't, that's just not just anybody. You got to be a descendant of slaves. You got to be an Israelite first. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. See, he was slaving from can't see to can't see, sun up to sun down in the cotton field, getting their fingers pricked. See, working you to death. Oh, the slaves only last a year's time, and we got to go and get some more slaves. See, the women, we're working the women so hard in the sugarcane field that they don't have their menstrual cycle. See, we working them to the bone where we find in the graves where they bones done separated from their limbs is separating from the body. We don't work they behind so hard. Verse 2, this Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. See, they saying, well, they can't defeat us. They don't got no army. Well, what are they gonna do? See, but it's bigger than a freaking army, because we got spiritual power. This is how we defeat in their kingdom. And now they saying that we using this spiritual power. At the same time we're using this spiritual power and prophesying, their kingdom is falling. They 200 plus. That's just an estimated $200 trillion in debt. See, they so in debt they want to join the BRICS because they thinking this might be a way out. Well, we just joined the BRICS and the rest of the nation. See, we're gonna get away from this dollar in the Federal Reserve. Let's join the BRICS money, because they've been living on the hog with the petrodollar and with this global reserve dollar with a Benjamin Franklin and a General Grant on it. Verse 3 says, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves. See, and that's what Yahweh was talking about when he say they're going to be gnashing their teeth, man. It says, this was he who we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. See, we had them in slavery, and we was calling them every name in the book. See, We call them all kind of animal names, saying they come from animals, saying they're not a real human. They're closer to the animal, so we can treat them like animals. This is the crap that was coming out of these people's mouth, man. And when they get angry, they're gonna go right back to that same stuff. Said they're just a bunch of animals. Yeah, it ain't went nowhere because your grandma was saying it. Your great grandma. What's the guy they were? I just heard a guy say one of the 10th presidents, his grandson just died. So how you still alive? Your granddaddy was the 10th president of the United States. See, and he just dying right now. So this they act like it's a long time ago. No, it ain't a long time ago, man. It says, verse 4, Wisdom of Solomon 5:4. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. They were just a bunch of slaves and they ain't gonna be worth nothing. See? But now they saying, oh, you got prophesied, and they are the Israelites. What? How? Verse 5, it says, how is he numbered among the children of the Most High? And his lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth. See, they on TikTok, they on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, man, these people they all the Israelites. We've been lied to. See, these fake Israelites, these small hats, they've been lying to us and they took over our government. We didn't know anything about it. And nah, you knew what was going on, man. It says, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. See, they gonna realize that they've been lied to, and they gonna suffer the consequences. Because a lot of people try to separate themselves from America, but at the same time, they hardcore involved. Oh well, our troops and our soldiermen is our den. Oh, thanks for your service. See, you've been serving us real well, soldier. They have all these Memorial Days and all of these celebrations for these military people, and they go to running their mouth, see, and letting their heart confess what's really going on with their mouth. That you is in cahoots with America. You is how they said, you you joined to the hip with America, man. And these Negroes is right involved with them. But let me get who this wicked kingdom belonged to. This is Ezekiel 35. He said, prophesy against this great kingdom. See, go out and prophesy against this great kingdom. But who is running the great queen kingdom? This is Ezekiel 35. It says, son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So when they get this spiritual power, they're going to prophesy against Mount Seir, a specific nation of people. Verse 3, it says, and say unto it, thus says the Lord, thus says Yahweh our power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you, and I will stretch out my hand against you, and I will make you most desolate. I will lay your cities waste, and you shall be desolate, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. Verse 5. Because you have had a perpetual hatred and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. What time is that? At the end of their slavery. In the time that their iniquity had it in. What did their iniquity cause? The curses to come upon them, The curses say they're going to go on a slave ship. The curses say they're going to be under their enemies. See, they're going to be the head, they're going to be the tail. At the end of that situation, see, this is when the nation of Edom will be prophesied again. And real quick, just to get who the Mount Seir is, it tells you in verse 15, just to stay right here in the context. It says, as thou did rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, just like in Revelation 11, it says they were rejoicing and passing Israelites as gifts to one another. The past time and present time. Talking about a freaking, they gonna breed, what, right there in Maryland, they was breeding Negroes. It says, because it was desolate, so will I do unto you, and you shall be desolate, O Mount Seir and all Idumea. So that Mount Seir is talking about Idumea. Idumea is the Greek word for Edom. It says even all of it. So not just the ones that want to claim it. No. See, you ain't got to claim it. If you is the Edomite, and you going to get the punishment of the Edomites. It says, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Now this Ezekiel 35 shows you that an end time prophecy, man, that the Edomites is going to have the Israelites in captivity. This is an end time prophecy. Here go another place. Let's go to Joel 3. Because they put them at the scene of the crime. Joel 3 and verse 1, it says, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. See, when you go into these commentaries on either Bible Hub or Blue Letter Bible, the commentaries will tell you straight up, Joel 3 is the end time prophecy. And that's when the Israelites is in slavery, man. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. See, they're going to go that northern army that was in verse 2, chapter 2, verse 20, is talking about the American army. He going to send they behind over there. See, they trying to pay them Iranians off, but the Israelis, the Amalek, they're not going to let it happen. They're going to keep the war raging. They got to go to shooting missiles at everybody. It says, and will plead with them therefore my people and my heritage Israel. See, they're not going over, and see, that's why when they try to steal the land and they trying to keep the war going, they trying to make it seem like this is fitting they thinking behind. But you a bunch of Khazars and a bunch of Edomites. It says, who they have scattered among the nations. See, because see, if they go, hey, he send that army, that northern army over there to Iran and Saudi Arabia and all that crap into that desert. They and if they pushing them to do it, they gonna try to say, oh, he's doing it for them people. But who was scattered among the nations? See, the Israelites were scattered. These folks weren't scattered among no nations, man. It says, who they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And then verse 3 gonna chop their head off. It says, and they have cast lots for my people. See, just when Russia, Stalin and Lenin, whatever they want to call him, when they got in power, it was with these darn small hats, these Khazars. See, the Amalek was up in that hardcore. And when they when Hitler and these Germans started messing with these people, he wasn't selling them to nobody, man. They wasn't being sold to nobody. Only people that was being sold is the people in the slave trade, in the sub-Saharan slave trade. See, this is finishing verse 3, Joel 3 and 3. It says, and they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot. See, that what was going on in them breeding slave plantation. They breeding the children. The boy, they'll sit and make the boy sleep with his mama. See, that's why that word MF, mother effer, this is where it come from, a freaking slave plantation. It says, and given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. And you look at the history of the rum, the liquor, the wine, all of that goes back to the plantation. Sugar cane, molasses. See, the slave women was making the molasses turn into some rum, and then they start selling it. I'm gonna jump down to verse 6. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. We know who the Greeks were. Now the original Greeks, before probably before this time, and during the Greco-Roman Empire, before that was a bunch of Japhites. But they doing what was it? Philip of Macedonian, Alexander the Great father. He went in there as a Macedonian and took over and militarized the whole Greek operation and took the thing over, man, and kicked them Japhites out of there. See, and these Edomites was the freaking Macedonian. They went and took over that thing. That's certified history. So when you jump down, and I want to get to linking them to these Edomites, jump down to verse 19. It says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah. This is what Ezekiel 35 and 5. At the end days, you're going to have the Edomites being the slave master and the Israelites being the slave. See, they're going to be the Edomites going to be the head, the Israelites going to be the tail. They got to go into their banks and ask for a loan. Can I get a loan? I want to start a business. I need a banking account. Now, the next in Amos chapter 1 goes into the whole slave trade, where these Arab Ishmael was selling the Israelites to the so-called white man who was Edom. You got the African Hamites was selling the Israelites to the so-called white man who was Edom. So you got all of that in the prophecy. This is how the prophecy was situated. Let's get into. So you got Lamentations, Joel, and Ezekiel showing how these freaking Edomites is at the end of the Israelites' captivity being their slave master. This Lamentations 4, and I'm gonna start with verse 18 and say, they hunt our steps. See, they hunt your steps, man. You can be unarmed, running away from their behind, and they gonna pew pew your behind, man. It says they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. See, at the end of our captivity, you have these Edomites hunting our steps, causing Jacob trouble. See, like Ezekiel 16 and 770 on down, they're gonna be having a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. A great insurrection upon his chosen, upon his chosen elect who got the spiritual power. That's why you say if they will harm them, if anybody will harm them, that's when the fire gonna come down. See, the fire ain't gonna come down because we was on a slave ship. No, the fire ain't gonna come down because they try to put all of that on Jacob trouble. No, the fire gonna come down when they start to attack the Israelites. It says, where is it? Verse 19, it say, our oppressors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. When you go into Obadiah, it says that the eagle, that the Edomites will be representation of the eagle. What's the American symbol? The American bald eagle. See, showing that they are the supreme Edomite. It says, our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursue us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. We're getting to the point, jumping down to verse 21. It says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. See, rejoice and be glad. This your kingdom. You got more than your heart can wish. You eating the Israelites, you sacrificing them, you doing all kind of wickedness. It says, that dwell in the land of Israel, the cup also shall pass unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken. See, this is how they, a drunk person, how they say, alcohol is the truth. Alcohol is the, it make you tell the truth. It says, and thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. So they gonna be so drunk. See, they're like Nebuchadnezzar. You gonna expose yourself, man. You gonna tell on yourself. Verse 22, it say, the punishment of your iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, at the end of the captivity. He will no more carry you away in the captivity. See, that's the end of their punishment. It says, he will visit your iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover your sin. So just like, where is it, Joel 3, it said that those Grecians, those Edomites that took the Israelites into captivity, they going to be put into captivity to the children of Judah, which is going to have these Hamite Africans being the taskmaster. See, we gonna put them to task. Hey, take these Edomites, put them over here. Take these other Edomites, put them over there. Get these Edomites to do this. Get them to do that. See, while you doing this, you get the Edomites to go do that. See, we gonna be bossing the Hamite Africans and telling them to go do this to the Edomites. See, that's who the Sabaeans, because the Sabaeans ain't gonna be some free people, and we gonna be bossing them around. No, they gonna be in chains too. Let me get that out there 45. So we putting the Hamites in chains, and we putting these Edomites in chains. This Isaiah 45 and 14. It says, thus says Yahweh, the labor of Egypt, the merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabaeans, men of stature. We go over there to Sudan and all these countries, these Hamite Africans, man, they 7 feet tall, all of them. It says, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be yours, and they shall come over to you in chains. They shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely the Most High is in you, and there is none else. There is no power. So there is no power but of the Israelites. See, why ain't they inventing stuff over there? Since they got they melanated and they got melanin in their skin. Why ain't they producing anything? See, why ain't people flocking to their entertainment and to their music? It's not happening. And those South Africans down there, them Israelites. See, you got Israelites in Nigeria and South Africa mainly. And that's who the people flocking to. They not flocking to them freaking Hamites, man. Hamites can't keep a tune just like the so-called white man. They off beat, they off rhythm. Nobody wanna listen to their crap. See, you listen, pull up some Sudan music and listen to that crap that they coming out with. It's like a bunch of gibberish, man. Nobody wanna hear that crap. Now, real quick, let's get some of the New Testament. They love trying to criticize us with the Old Testament. But these prophecies, Luke and those Israelites that Yahushua was dealing with, they were prophets because they were Israelites. This is Luke 21 and 24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. See, when you're a captive in somebody's nation, you was a slave. See, and your children gonna be a slave, and your children's children gonna be a slave. It says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. See, and what's that time? When Yahweh shall crack that sky. See, when he cracked that sky, that's when the redemption is coming. Look at verse 28. It says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draw near. See, the redemption gonna draw near when Yahweh shall come. We still gonna be in captivity, and our land gonna be trodden down of Amalek, whoever else. But see, when those missiles come and clean that land out, they ain't gonna have none of that. Now, let me get something to match that in Haggai chapter 2, and I'm gonna start with 21. It says, "Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth." That's why he said the powers of heaven shall be shaken, because that's talking about this kingdom of the Edomites. That's Salakia. Verse 22. It says, I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. So the kingdoms of the heathen is the Gentile that's trotting down the Israelites. Okay? It says, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, the horses, and those riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. So he's going to call all chaos to come to America, and they're going to be going at it with each other. Let's get that in Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19 prophesy about this spiritual Babylon. Look at verse 1. It says, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt. See, that ain't never happened. None of that has happened. It's finna happen with Babylon the Great. America spiritually, Egypt, the shadow of Egypt. It says, the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. What he said in Luke 21, that they hearts gonna fail them out of fear. He says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. See, the Americans against the Americans. What's that? Second Ezra 16, no, Second Ezra 15, where it says, people should not pity their neighbor. I'm gonna go get it. Let me finish this. It says, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's why you're gonna have these race wars. You're gonna have these people just going crazy in America. And when you look at Hollywood, why do they keep making these movies about societal breakdown with zombies and all of these pestilence and hate breaking loose in America? See, The Walking Dead, Fallout, it's another one. Even the Planet of the Apes, man. Movies they keep making, talking about America being going through chaos and anarchy. Um, Verse 3, it say, the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof. And that when you look at other translation of that verse, it's saying that the spirit of America, man, all this American dream, the American the normal American lifestyle is gonna be out of there. It's gonna fall. It's not gonna be the same. People gonna be wishing that they could go back to the normal way they used to live in Babylon, the Great America. It says, I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmer. That's why a lot of people doing more sacrifices. They doing more wickedness and witchcraft. It says, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. That's what Babylon did. That's what Pharaoh did. He just went to asking, hey man, where's these witchcraft people? See, the God of Moses and these Israelites, the God of my slaves is acting up. Where's my people that got this power? Verse 4 it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says the Lord, says our power of hosts. So Trump, if he ain't one, Biden was one too. Because see, Biden let these people come over the border so he can set they behind up. See, he was the one that set them up. Say, okay, we'll let you come over. We already know when the next guy come in, he gonna persecute your behind. But y'all come on over here so I can set y'all up. Put a what do you say, the blind lead the blind, and they both shall fall into a ditch. But man, he was setting them up to fall into a ditch because he knew what was going to happen after the fact. Because he ain't got no power. See, that's another thing. The Lord that's over this spiritual Babylon, the spiritual Egypt, it's these elite bankers, the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, and all these 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. These people have been doing blood sacrifice and all kind of crap, and they gonna start to get fierce. That's what Revelation 6 is about. The black horse. See, it's the same red horse, but that red horse is turned into an evil, to the max horse. He gonna be trying to slave your behind on a whole nother level, and he gonna be trying to kill folks when he turned into the pale horse. It's the same nation of people. But anyhow, it's another one. I want to dig into that spiritual power some more. Let's get let's get First Thessalonians 5. This First Thessalonians 5:1 says, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahweh so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that they shall come over you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor the darkness. Okay, so this is going into that spiritual armor. See that spiritual power. Let me jump down to verse 8 to go ahead and quote it. It says, let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. So that's that power that we got, man. That power is going into that spiritual armor. Let me get that in Ephesians, because he said a lot, and break it down in Ephesians. This is Ephesians 6. See, this is the war that we fighting. We fighting a spiritual war, and the prophecy is one of our main weapons. It says, verse 11, this Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brother, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Okay, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. We're not fighting a carnal fight. We're not fighting a physical fight. We fighting spiritually. That's why he said flesh and blood. Yeah, we fighting against the nation of Edom, which is flesh and blood. But we doing it in a spiritual way. That's why he had to say flesh and blood. Because the opposite of that, the opposite of the flesh is the spirit. That's why he was also in I think it was Romans, he was saying about the flesh and the spirit have enmity with each other and they fighting against each other. So that's the opposite of that is talking about the spirit. So we standing spiritually standing against principalities. Principalities is not talking about some fallen angel. It's talking about the nation of Edom, which is ruling the world in the end time when the Israelites is in captivity. It says, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And let me see if I can get that out of Romans 8. I want to precept that one real quick. Romans 8, because it's talking about these principalities, showing that this is not talking about no freaking angels, man. This Romans 8 and 38, it says, for I am persuaded that neither death nor life nor angels separated, focused it in, nor principalities. So the angels and the principality, the two different things, man. And the principality is talking about government. Same thing with power. Nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come. So that's the precept for that Ephesians 6, man. And there's about four more of them that shows that principality is talking about a kingdom and not no freaking fallen angels, man. Because the Christian church pushed that crap. They said it every sermon, every Sunday. They want to bring out us a spiritual war, the armor of God, and we fighting against the demons. Say no, 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 no. This ain't no war. You sit around fighting against the angels of the Lord, man. This is where is it? What it said, the rulers of this plane, the rulers of this world. That's these elite bankers, these billion trillionaires. See the bloodline that's doing all this witchcraft. See worshiping these familiar spirits. That's lying spirits. They just lying to you, man, to set your behind up. Where is it? Jump down to verse 16. Ephesians 6 and 16 said, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. See, the wicked is a nation of people. It's not just anybody that want to do something against the laws of God. It says 17, and take the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. And the Spirit, uh, the sword of the Spirit is going into those prophecies, and the word of the Most High is going into Yahushua, who is the Spirit, his testimony is the Spirit of prophecy. So this is the spiritual war that we fight. Oh, real quick, I got to get to Timothy. We talking about the spiritual power of the elect. The spiritual power of the elect. This First Timothy 1 and 18. It says, this charge I command unto thee, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on thee, that thou I mean that thou by them mightest war a good warfare. Okay, we going to war. We having a spiritual war with these people. We using our spiritual power fighting against the nation of Edom, fighting against the wickedness of these devils, man. See, and let me get that Zechariah 5 and 11, because this is what they, no, not 5, Zechariah 11 and 5, it says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. See, this is what they do. See, they'll shoot your child down in the street, man, and say, oh, we're going to send him, give him a leave of absence, or we just going to fire the man, and that's it. See, he was doing his duty. It's a hard job, you know. It's hard to patrol these streets with these rough gangsters and stuff. You got to be able to think on the fly. See, you're just going to fire them and send them home. It says, who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Because Pastor Porkchop, he gonna get up there and run his mouth, see, and say, "Oh, forgive the devil." See, God, they don't know what they're doing. What they do. Quote from Hawashai, who was not talking about these dragons, man. He wasn't talking about the Romans that was killing the people. He was talking about his own people that giving them the okay and pointing them out. Because see, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the one that had traded and sold out to the so-called white man, they was saying, we can't kill him. According to our law, we can't kill him. But you go ahead and kill him, master. See? Everybody's starting to believe on him. He gonna take our seat away of being the top man, where we can get donations and get tithes from these people. It's the same crap. When you go into that Malachi 3, where they keep saying, well, you rob God. That same section was saying that them priests was sitting up there getting money from the people that got a job. See, they just trying to get money from people that got a job. That's what he was talking about. What he said, you gonna rob God? Yeah, because you trying to take money from these people that got a job. They ain't got nothing to do with the Lord. That's how you robbing God. Now, and you see none of these 28, 19, none of these people speaking up for these atrocities that's happening to our people. You want to talk all this mess, and I'm giving money to the single mothers and all this crap. Say, well, what's going on with the injustices in our neighborhoods and with our nation? Um, Now I'm gonna get let me while I'm getting in these on these Pastor Porkchop. This is Isaiah 56 in verse 10. It says, his watchmen are blind. See, because he done hired these people. That's why Margaret Sanger, who started the abortion clinic, she want to talk about, oh, I'm gonna get these pork chop eating pastors to go out there and try to tell them that we ain't trying to exterminate them. Tell them to love us and come up with all kind of mind tricks, so they'll never look at their enemies as the darn enemy. It says his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. See, the dog gonna bark and warn you behind. Lying, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. See, they just want money from slave masters. They just want money from the small hats over there. That's why he called all of them over there. Y'all, all you lawmakers and all you preachers, y'all come over here to Israel so I can re-educate your behind. See, so I can debrief you on what I want you to do to these Negroes, and what I want you to tell them, and the tricks and every little thing I want you to do, man. And I'll pay you good. That's why the 21-8, what his name, uh Mitchell or whatever his church name, 2819. He said, I went to Israel and my whole life changed. I said, yeah, because you went over there and met the devil. See, you went over there and met them small hats who trying to steal your identity and exterminate your people. It says, yeah, they are all greedy dogs which can never have enough. They are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain and for his quarter. See, they just like these Negroes that selling dope. Man, I ain't worried about all that, man. I'm gonna sell milk my dope because I'm worried about my family. I'm trying to eat. I ain't worried about everybody else. That's on them. They shouldn't smoke the dope. You know. Say you just gonna destroy other people so you can be all right. And that's how the what's them guys the what do you call them, the economic hitmen. See, the economic hitman with these corporations of these Edomites, they go off in all these South American countries, the African countries, and they try to make deals with these people. Don't worry about your peoples or whatever. We just want to use you so we can come in the country and steal the resources, and we'll make you rich and protect your family. Don't worry about all them other people. They're not worried about you. You just gonna sit here and be broke. Make a deal with us. We gonna make it worth your while. See, this is how the devil get down, man. And see that they mad about our spiritual power exposing they behind. If we got power enough to expose our people that's gonna trade it out on our nation, showing the history, showing everything. They like, how did they get this spiritual power? This second Ezra 6 and 27. Second Ezra 6 and 27, it says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. See, the righteous man is standing up and declaring the truth because those prophecies is 100% true. They gonna come true. They faithful and true. That's why I said the testimony of Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy, because he is the faithful witness. See, his testimony is gonna be faithful. His testimony is gonna be true. His testimony not gonna come up and be wrong when he prophesied against these darn people, man. Now let's go and get some of them prophecies in Matthew 24. Where is it? This is Matthew 24. They was asking him, when is the end of the world, man? When is you coming back? Yahweh said, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and the earthquakes in the birthplace. So you're gonna have these race wars, and you're gonna have all kind of problems going on. He said that many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. You're gonna have these Edomites pushing their agenda through these false prophets. Okay. Verse 14 is Matthew 24 and 14. It says, and this good news of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. How is that going to happen? Through the internet. See, because you can't, as a slave, you don't have no money to reach all of these places. You don't have no plane. That's why these pastors talking about, oh, whoa, Creflo Dollar. Send us the money so we can get a plane and I can go preach the kingdom to the whole world. See, that's what you would have needed if he working off some mess like that. But the Lord said, no, I ain't gonna need all that. I got the internet. That's what that same second Ezra where it says, 2 Ezra 6, where it says the truth gonna flourish and be declared. He said he gonna open up the books in the firmament, meaning that in the towers, the internet towers, he gonna let that truth go out. Same thing with Psalm 19. He gonna let the truth go to the four corners of the earth through the internet. So, anyways, it says, when it go to all the nations, then the end shall come. He says, and when he go another point where he brought up these Edomites, verse 15, it says, and when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. When you go back to Daniel, and it tell you that these are the prince of the people, see, that's ruling, that went in there and took over Jerusalem in 70 AD, is the abomination of desolation. See, when you see these Edomites ruling again, because the Roman Empire was Edomites. See, ain't no Roman Empire. It was the Edomite Empire. And the Edom, the Greece, the so-called Greeks and the so-called Romans were all Edomites. And that's why you had to put them together and say Greco-Roman Empire, because it's all Edomites. Should have been the first Edomite power that translated to another Edomite power, which are the abomination of desolation. When you see them in the Holy Land, standing up, see, talking about we the Israelites, that's going back to Ezekiel 35. See, in the end time, the Edom, all of our doom is going to be rejoicing that they done stole the inheritance of the Israelites. Well, that's Ezekiel 36 and 5 too. But he says, jump down to get to the point, verse 21, is Matthew 24 and 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, which as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So for the elect Israelites with spiritual power, that's crying day and night to the Lord, see, when they try to hurt them, like Revelation 11 say, when you try to hurt them, that's when all heck gonna break loose. That's when fire is gonna come down and devour this place. See, and right now it's exposing these people or causing them to expose themselves. See, they done got drunk like a drunken, and they started telling on themselves. Yeah, we did this and we did that. See, their own people's telling on them. Now, let's get that Job either 20, yeah, Job 20 and 5. It says the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. They're not gonna rule forever, man. People can't get this America out of their mind. They acting like it ain't no alternative to America. It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reaches unto the cloud. See, though he ruling the world and he can fly spaceships all in the darn sky, that ain't meaning nothing, man. He's still gonna be brought down, like he says in Obadiah. See, who can bring me down to the ground? The Lord gonna bring you down. This Job 20 and 22, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. See, he got all the plan, and he's getting close to accomplish those things. Like he said, today, create you a seat at the table. I forget the quote. Let me go and get that real quick. I think it's Psalm 68. I have to look this one up. Yeah, he is 69, Salaki. Psalm 69 and 22, it says, let their table become a snare before them, and that which should be have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. See, he thinking he gonna eat on that table, and that table gonna fill his belly. But before he can fill his belly, while he's sitting at that table, he gonna realize that he done been put in a trap. Cause see, he listening to these familiar spirits when he's sacrificing these children and drinking blood and doing all this wickedness. He think he gonna be able to do something to the Israelites. See, but you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. It says, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. This is back in Job 20 and 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. That's the nuclear missile. That's that fire coming down from heaven. See, he gonna strike they behind through while they at the table eating. See, while you trying to eat the Israelites and gnash them with your teeth and your military, round them up and try to exterminate them, because that's what Matthew 24 was talking about. I'm gonna try to pretty much exterminate. Oh, let's get it out of Psalms 83. I'm gonna try to get rid of these Israelites. This Psalms 83 and 3, it says, they have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden one. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. See, let's exterminate these people and get them out the way. Then we can rule forever. It says, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you, O tabernacles of Edom. See, that's the so-called white man. He said, exterminate these people. See, Margaret Sanger in 1914, 1913, Ku Klux Klan female leader, she wants to come up with the plan, but guess what? Hitler and these Germans and these other Edomites around the world was listening. This is when they went over there and killed the Tsar, the last, could have been the last Israelites that was over there in Russia. See, because a lot of those people could have been terrorists, man, and they over there protecting the architecture and the archives of the Israelites being dark skinned and dark complected. That's why Putin can pull out these capsules that got so-called Black Jesus. See, got Yahushua in his true state. See, they got all kind of cathedrals with black Madonnas and pictures of the Israelites being black or being melanated. So this is what they're trying to hide. But anyway, during 1913, 1914, they killed the Russian Tsar or whatever, slaughtered him and his family. And then you got Margaret Sanger with her stinking behind talking about, let's exterminate the Negro. Let's get rid of them. Then the Ku Klux Klan get on a major rebirth. See, the rebirth of a nation. They come out with a movie. See, this is the stuff that these dragons was doing, man. Mind you, the Israelites in Harlem starting to put the flesh back on. I think that's what Ezekiel 37 said. Let me go into that because I was butchering it earlier. Ezekiel 37, yeah, they was starting to put the flesh back on. Ezekiel 37 and 6. It says, and I will lay sinews upon you and will bring up flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath in you. So this is what was going on in Harlem in 1910. 1910 through 13. You had the Israelites in Harlem Bishop Matthews, he said every black man in America is a Hebrew, is an Israelite. Then you had these Edomite pastors talking about, don't believe the myth of the lost tribe. He's gonna write a book about the myth of the lost tribe that the Negroes are talking about in Harlem, New York. See, all of this was going on, man. Now, this is what it's on that they trying to get rid of the elect. This second Ezra 16. And I'm gonna start close to the verse. Yes, well I get 70. It says, and there, this is second Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be, Salakia, there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. They shall be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So the murder, the Israelites being martyrs is going to have to happen because this is going to expose them for being the chosen. See, they're not going to be rounding up Jehovah wickedness or Baptist Christian or Catholic Christian. See, they're not rounding up none of them people talking about a Christian, man. They're gonna be rounding up blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans because they know they are the Israelites, and they're gonna be rounding up the initiated, the one that's prophesying, that one that got the spiritual power. Because they said when you attack them or hurt them, then that's when the fire is gonna come and kick your behind. So they're gonna be eating some of the what you call it, some of the initiated, some of the elect. That's why he says they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. And let me get it out of here too to show some of the elect. First Corinthians, Salaki. First Corinthians uh 15. First Corinthians 15 and 51 it says, behold, I'll show you a mystery, show you the initiated. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. See, soon as they try to put one of the Israelites, as soon as they put one of the Israelites to death, they gonna be caught up in the moment, twinkling of an eye. Verse 53 it says, for this this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. See, but I think about what I really wanted was Second Thessalonians, First Thessalonians 4 and 16. I think, yeah. It says, verse 15 says, for this we say unto you by the word of Yahweh, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord should not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven without a shout, with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first. So they gonna rise first. As soon as they get beheaded or whatever, they gonna rise first. Verse 17 it says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be, so we ever be with the Lord. So this is what's gonna be going on. See, the elect is gonna be tried. They're gonna be being eaten by these Edomites, pretty much these cannibals. They're the real cannibals. And the Lord is gonna come and be a savior for his people. Let me get it out of Luke. This is Luke 1, and I start with 68. It say, blessed be the Lord, blessed be Yahweh, power of Israel, for he have visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we shall be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. That's the salvation. Being saved from the hand of your enemy. I mean, you in his land and you paying taxes and you his servant. 72. To perform the mercy promise to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we being delivered out of the hand of our enemies might serve him without fear. Okay, this is what Israelites given power to see this clearly. See, we've been given spiritual power to see the whole situation, because these other people have been blinded spiritually. See, they still spiritually dead. Their dead bodies is in Babylon the Great, which is spiritually crucifying Yahweh, which is spiritually crucifying the truth. See, and they spiritually blind and dead. They dead in America, man. They can't see it. But the Lord is giving the elect spiritual power so they can see clearly what's going on. Let me get that Habakkuk chapter 2. It's Habakkuk 2, starting in verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables. Run that read it, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. See, well, the appointed time is at the end of the captivity. But at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. See, it won't tarry because it's at an appointed time. See that he already put the 350 years on there in Revelation 11 and 11. After 3 days and a half, the spirit of life is gonna come on them. So it's not gonna tarry. It's not gonna take forever. I'm telling you, we got a time on it. And then when you go into Ezekiel chapter 4, it tells you too some time. Ezekiel 4 and there is a verse 4 to get right to the point. It says, lie thou also upon thy right left side, and lie the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days. So shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. So it's gonna be a time that they bearing the iniquity. So he put a time limit. For the appointed time, the vision is gonna come into the Israelites. And that's in Joel, what, Joel 2? Joel 2. Let's start with 27 to get the whole spiritual power rounded up. It says, And ye shall know that I'm in the midst of Israel. So you're gonna know the Israelites got this spiritual power. That I am Yahweh, your power, and none else. See, nobody else is prophesying against this wicked kingdom. Nobody else is exposing who the Edomites are, and that they are the wicked that the Bible speak of. The devil, the Satan, the beast, the Antichrist, the man of sin. They everything in there. See, it ain't no fallen angel crap, man. They hiding behind the fallen angel. It's the so-called slave master of the Israelites. It says, and my people shall never be ashamed, and it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. They're going to tell you who the all flesh is. And I still hear people talking about all flesh is just everybody, man. It's telling you who the all flesh is. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see vision. And he go to point in 29. And also your servants and upon your handmaid. That's talking about a female slave and a male slave. See, not talking about some freaking church member. It says, in those days will I pour out my spirit. Jump down to verse 32 to get to the point. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. How can you read that verse and still keep talking about some Jesus Christ, man? Talking about some Christ. Oh, we don't know no name. How are we going to call on a name? The name mean the character. No, you ain't calling on no character. You calling on a literal name that's easy to find. It ain't hard to find. See, you know the people. That's why the whole thing is called Hebrew Scriptures. It's a language that the name was given in. They took out the name over 7,000 times. They say we're gonna take the name out of the book. We don't want these Negroes knowing that name. See, we don't want the slaves saying the name that's gonna save they behind. Let's take it out. The Jehovah wickedness acting like they done came up on a gold mine. Oh, look at Psalms 83:18. Oh, it's got the name of God in there. Nobody else is calling on the name but us. We found one place in the Bible that got God's name on it. Say, what the world? See, they really thinking that they doing something because they found one place that they forefathers and they fellow brethren didn't take out. Oh, they didn't take it out right here. See, we found one. The Spirit of the Lord helped us find it. See, why the Spirit of the Lord didn't tell you that y'all is made up another name? See, his name wasn't no Jehovah. You didn't want to say that one. The Spirit of the Lord didn't say, tell you that he made up a name for his son, Yahweh, talking about some Jesus. See, you want to act so amazed. Oh, we found one place in Psalms 83:18. Say, shut up. See, the Spirit of the Lord is going to cause you to say his name in the proper language. Hebrew scriptures, Hebrew name. Anyway, it says, for in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance. This is what the Israelites saying. Only the Israelites can be saved. Only the Israelites is going to be delivered in these last days. Ain't going to be no deliverance for nobody else. Everybody else will be captured and put into captivity. That's not, you being captured and thrown in captivity is not no deliverance, man. Yeah, you didn't get killed in the war, and you end up being captured and put in captivity. That's not being delivered, man. It says, as Yahweh have said, and in the remnant who Yahweh shall call. So only gonna be a remnant that's gonna be delivered up out of Babylon the Great. That's why in Revelation 18:4, it says, come out of her, my people. That's the call. The one that he called to come up out of her is going to be the remnant, the 1/3, the elect, the initiated Israelites and their families coming up out of this place. majority of the people is trusting in Babylon the Great. They don't want to cry out. That's the opposite part that I want to get. Let's go on back to lamentation. See, during this last captivity, what of our 2/3 of our people? This is what they doing. It says in Lamentations 4:17. It says, "As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us." See, they looking for the Edomites to save them. They looking for to beg and plead and march and ask the government, "Could y'all give us reparation and save us? Give us reparation and let us live deliciously in Babylon the Great with you." See, we're humans like you. We want to live and deliciously like you. God created everybody. He loved everybody. Why y'all the only people that can have more than your heart can wish? We want to live like you in Babylon. See, this is what the 2/3 is doing. They're not crying out to the Lord saying, "Destroy this freaking wicked kingdom, man." What, Matthew 20? Let me get Matthew 20, 21 and 21. Because Yahweh shall say that's what you got to do. See, if you got faith, your faith gonna understand that you got, which is the prophecy. You gonna understand the prophecies, and your faith is gonna tell you the prophecy say we gonna have to cry out to these people. That's our spiritual power. Is crying out. But anyway, Matthew 21 and 21, it says, "Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, Verily I say unto you, if you have faith and doubt not." See, don't be doubting and saying, "We want to stay here with our slave master." "Ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed." No, don't pray for let's pray for America. He can give us a president that's gonna treat everybody right. No, say that this place is gonna be removed. Destroy this place. Destroy this mountain. Destroy this slave master. Destroy this devil. See, that's what you got to be crying out. This man is wicked to the max. Destroy his behind. Remove him out of the way. Bring the kingdom. That's why he says, those who seek the kingdom first. You don't seek no freaking dragons, man. It says, "Be thou removed and be cast into the sea, and it shall be done." See, you, the one that's crying out, having faith that the Lord can do what he telling them to do, they the ones that's gonna be saying, "Get rid of this kingdom." Cause see, this mountain, when he said this mountain, he's talking about this kingdom that we is living in under these Romans and under these Edomites, the so-called white men. See, the EU. See, the Europeans, they try to act like they separated. They got a European Union and a NATO military to back it up. See, it's not no just no. Yeah, we didn't have nothing to do with that. We come from Ireland, but Ireland is part of the EU. Well, we come from Switzerland. Switzerland is part of the EU, the European Union. All of them are united. They've been united when they went over there and chopped up Africa in 1883. See, they've been united. They acting like they separate. Well, we didn't have nothing to do with that. We just migrated here. Well, you got a European Union, man. Y'all been united. That's why nobody can mess with y'all. But our people ain't crying out and saying, "Lord, get rid of this place." Tell them that it's enough and they out of there. Let me see. And I think let me go back because he said something in 20 and verse 20, I think. Yeah, that's what he said in verse 20. He says, "And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How soon is the fig tree withered away?" They saying, how soon is this place gonna be destroyed? This is what you got to be saying. You got to be crying out, saying, how long and how soon is you gonna destroy this place, man? You ready for this place to be destroyed? See, that's when the Lord is gonna come and deal with this place. Not when you talking about I want to be a Christian and live the American dream and God bless America and we gonna get the Democrats in there and they gonna get right and they gonna do right. You just you in love with the slave master. You got what's that thing called? Uh, syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. And I heard that Stockholm is one of these places over there in Europe that they named it. It's a city that they named it off of. But anyhow, it's when you in love with your capture. They done capture you, had you in the cellar for 40 years. The police busting the door ready to kill him. No, don't kill him. Don't kill him. See, you ready to save your capturee, whatever his name is. You ready to save the people, man. So you should be saying, shoot him, kill him, get me out of here. See, blow up their whole house. Put them under the jail. Hurry up and put some handcuffs on them. Tase them. Beat them down. See, put his behind in captivity. Throw him into prison. Put him behind bars. Repay him for what he did to me. That's what you supposed to be saying. You trying to say, no, what can they go with us? They gonna be in the kingdom with us, ain't they? You steady worried about what's gonna happen to him. Oh, well, why can't they go with us? We going, but they can't go. We want them to go too. You a big fool. But that's that spiritual power, man. The Lord giving us spiritual power so we can come against these people, man. Oh, yeah, that James. I wanted that James 4 and 4. This James 4 and 4 it says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with the Most High. You can't be no Democrat and be a friend to the world. You can't be some black Republican and be a friend to the world, hoping into their governmental system, thinking that they're gonna do something. See, hoping into their police justice system. Oh, we can have justice reform. No, ain't gonna be no justice system reform. They don't care nothing about no laws or none of that, man. When they ready to kick your behind, they gonna do it with immunity. When they ready to poison your behind like they did recently, they gonna do it with immunity. You can't sue none of the companies that you got the poison from. See, Fauci and none of the people that you got the poison from. You can't put charges on him either. See, it says, whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of the Most High. You want to, and that world is talking about the world of Esau. See, the heavens and the earth. He is the heavens and the earth, the first heaven and the first earth. That's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. The EU, Europeans united together to rule the world. That's what he's talking about, man. You want to be their friend, then you an enemy of the Most High. You ain't crying out. You accepting the adultery. That's why he called them adulteresses. You want to sit up there and be in love with your slave master. See, the person that's forcing you into captivity, you want to be in love with him and commit adultery. You ain't crying out. You married. You supposed to be married to this other man or betrothed to this other man, and you ain't crying out. Let me get that one just in case. Let me go back to that one. It's Deuteronomy 22 and 24. But I'll get 23 and 24. It says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her. That's talking about these 2/3 that's in love with America. It says, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gates of the city. See, when them missiles go to flying, the 2/3 and these Edomites gonna be looking up saying, man, we should have hit the road. We should have listened to the prophet. It says, uh, and ye, he says, both out of the gates of that city, and ye shall stone both with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he humbled his neighbor's wife, and so shall so thou shalt put away evil from among them. Let's get these stones in Babylon the Great. Revelation 16. Let's get these stones, which are nuclear missiles, that's gonna happen to the 2/3 who don't want to cry out. See, they don't want to cry out and come out of America. They want to keep hanging on to it. Revelation 16 and 18, 18 through 20, and this is talking about the battle of Armageddon when the Lord bring the final battle, and it's gonna be in America and on America. It says, verse 19, and the great city was divided into three parts. When those missiles hit, it's gonna divide this place. But jumping down to verse 21 to get that stoning, it says, and there fell upon men a great and they fell upon men a great hail out of heaven. What kind of hail? Every stone about the weight of a talent. So these stones, which is missiles, is going to be coming down. Stoning the people that didn't cry out. The 2/3 that didn't cry out to the Lord and say, remove this kingdom. Say, remove this mountain. Throw it into the sea. It says, um, where was I? Every weight of a talent. And men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceedingly great. See, it's going to be exceedingly great when it's coming for Babylon the Great America. Verse 18, chapter 18 of Revelation. It says, verse 18, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? See, ain't no other city like Babylon the Great America. Verse 21, to get to the point, it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. See, this is the angels controlling those missiles and that missile fire that's coming to Babylon the Great America. But this is just like with the damsel being stoned with the so-called grapists. It says, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. So that's what he was saying in Revelation 16, that the stone that's going to be coming down out of heaven is going to destroy this place. That's how the smoke of her burning. Not because they talking about Jehovah Wickedness, talking about a coalition of false religion, empire of false religions, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Muslims, the fake Christians. No, that's not what this is talking about. This is talking about literal stones coming, literal stone weapons coming to destroy this place, and uh, it's gonna leave smoke and fire. Is Revelation 14 that gives some more details? 14, yeah. But I'll start with verse 8 to add in this final temptation when these data centers is being set up everywhere so they can start putting these devices in people's body to track them so they can try to find who the elect is. It says, verse 14, this chapter 14 of Revelation, starting at verse 8, it says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. See, and that's fornication too, is adultery. See, because she the one went and got the bride of the Lord and put them into slavery. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive the mark in his forehead or in his hand, seeing that image of the beast, that's big, because this image is pretty much, this is a picture. Image is a picture, and you can put it's a motion picture. If they make a movie about Babylon the Great, see, people accepting what's going on. See, and what's going to be going on is them trying to merge themselves with the technology and with the darn computers. Put the computer inside of you so you can control the computer without it's like hands free. You trying to make it a hands free operation. But anyways, it says verse 10. It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without measure into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascend up forever and ever. Because this is literal smoke, because they're gonna get literally burnt the heck up when they accept these people's stuff in Babylon the Great. It says verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascend up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image. See, who worship the so-called white man and everything that he was pushing. And whosoever received the mark of his name. Now, when you go into 13 and 14, it'll tell you why they gonna accept it. Verse 14 is Revelation 13 and 14 says, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So he gonna be with that image, he gonna be deceiving the people with that image. See, he gonna be deceiving them with the image, uh, where he trying to merge machine and man. Okay, and so this is what these 2/3 is gonna fall into. They're not gonna cry out against the people and say, "We don't want to be a cyborg." See, we don't want to do nothing that you trying to tell us to do. Merge with some darn computer. See, they're not gonna cry out. They're gonna just say, "Okay, yeah, that do sound good." They're gonna listen to these entertainers and all these people, and they're gonna get caught up. Okay, so yeah, the Israelites gonna have that spiritual power where they can fight against uh, these Edomites and pretty much destroy their kingdom. Now ended on this Thessalonians, second Thessalonians, the second chapter, verse 3. It said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. See, the Edomites gonna be revealed in the last day. Verse 4 says, who put themselves up, showing themselves that they are God. See, they put up white Jesus and push that Christianity man. Verse 8, to get to the point, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. So they're going to be revealed for being a liar. Like Deuteronomy 33 and 29, I think. It says, who the Lord Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Spirit of his mouth is the Israelites. See, they gonna get consumed because the Israelites gonna have spiritual power to use their mouth to destroy these people, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So yeah, this is how that spiritual power is gonna work. They're gonna be revealing and exposing these people, and that's gonna be their destruction. It's Luke 12:2. It says, "For there shall, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." So you can't hide nothing. Everything that they're doing is gonna be exposed because the prophets got spiritual power to expose they behind. They got spiritual power to focus on that situation, on focus on what these Edomites is doing. See, day and night we gonna be on their head, giving the Lord no rest, saying, when is this mountain, when is this kingdom gonna be removed? We ready for it to be done away with. And we watching in the tower of his flock, as it says in Micah 2 and 8, I think. The tower of the flock is the prophets. That's the watchmen of the house of Israel that's revealing and exposing these dragons. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Give all power, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, the Takadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the descendants of slaves scattered around the globe on slave ships through many captivities. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.